Okay guys, so you should be all ready to take the test. You should be split up into your guys' test taking spots and have the test passed out to you guys already. I'm just going to go over some parts of the test that can be kind of confusing, and again, I'm going to try to make this quick, so please follow directions. You guys shouldn't be working on your test right now. You guys should be paying attention because I will not feel bad for you if you guys do this wrong. If you do this incorrectly, you're going to do way more work than you have to do. Okay, so basically what the directions say is that you guys have experiment 1 on the first page, questions 1 through 8, and then if you guys flip the back page, you guys see experiment 2, questions 1 through 8. Okay, you guys only have to do one of these, so experiment 1 or experiment 2. You guys will circle which one you're going to do. So if I choose to do experiment 2, I'm going to circle that, and then I'm going to leave experiment 1 on the first page blank. Okay, if I choose to do experiment 1, I'm going to do obviously questions 1 through 8. I'm going to circle experiment 1, and then I'm going to leave questions 1 through 8 on the back of that blank. Okay, everyone needs to answer questions 9, 10, and 11. That is for everyone. Basically, the premise of this is you guys have a student who is making a claim. On experiment 1, you guys have Billy, and Billy says that two objects aren't attracted to each other unless they're touching each other. So basically, if I have two magnets that are attracted to each other, they have to be touching in order to be attracted to each other. Okay, you guys are going to prove Billy wrong if you choose experiment 1. If you choose experiment 2, you guys have Angela, who thinks that two objects won't repel each other unless they're touching. Okay, so again, if I have two repelling magnets, they have to be touching in order for them to repel each other. So you guys are going to do what you can to prove Angela wrong if you guys choose experiment 2. Okay, on the first, whether you guys chose experiment 1 or experiment 2, you guys are doing something similar on the first 4 questions. So we're looking back at activities that we did in class. So if you guys look at the sideboard where we normally have our homework, I wrote a list of activities that we did for this unit, so you guys will use them as a reference. So question 1 says describe what you did in the experiment. So look back at something we've already done in class and just tell me what we did in that experiment. Okay. Question 2, explain the data or observations from this experiment. So what did you guys observe happening, or what kind of data did you collect? Question 3, explain how this experiment provided evidence to prove Billy wrong. So again, Billy and or Angela, depending on whether you guys chose experiment 1 or experiment 2. How did that thing that we already did in class prove those two students wrong? And then finally, question 4 for each of those experiments is using a scientific reasoning, explain why two objects are attracted or repel each other. Okay, so tell me why that is. On the second part of both of those experiments, you guys will actually be making up your own experiment. So you will be provided one bar magnet and a compass, and you guys will conduct an experiment to prove either Billy or Angela wrong. So it asks you on number 5, what is your claim? Okay, so remember that Billy's claim for experiment 1 was that two objects won't be attracted unless you're touching. So then what is your claim if you do experiment 1? Same on experiment 2. If Angela says that two things won't repel each other unless they're touching, then what is your claim? Okay, so that's question 5. Question 6, describe in detail how you conducted your experiment. Again, you're doing that experiment with a bar magnet and a compass. You guys might need to share those things, so some of you guys might need to just start on question 12 of this test and then come back to this part if you guys don't have stuff right away. Okay, so describe in detail how you guys conducted your experiment with the bar magnet and the compass. Describe the evidence you collected, so what kind of data could you guys collect from that or observations, and then explain how this evidence supports your claim. That's number 8. Okay, then like I said, you'll either do experiment 1 and or experiment 2, 1 through 8. Then everyone needs to do question 9, 10, and 11. 9 says, what are some of the flaws of your experiment? 10 says, how might you go further using different methods, materials, or whatever to make this experiment better? So maybe you guys get to choose what materials you have outside of a bar magnet and a compass. There are flaws, so figure something out. Okay, and then question 11, what other questions arise from your observations in the experiment? Again, you guys can't say, I have no questions. You will not get that correct. Okay, so make sure you guys put some effort into thinking of a question from your guys' experiment. Okay, then I'm just going to go through these. Question 12 is multiple choice. So you guys have the 3 magnets pushed together. If you let them go, which one of these answers is going to best represent that? Question 13 is asking about how you can make a stronger electromagnet. Question 14, you guys have this little setup over here with circular magnets, and then it refers to these arrows as these little boxes. So each magnet has 2 little boxes coming off of it. You guys need to label north and south poles. You guys can already see north is labeled for you. So how would you label the other ones, north and south? So where's this one's north and south, and where's this magnet's north and south? And then explain why you guys labeled them the way you did. So using detail, you guys can't just say, oh, this one's north, so the rest are da-da-da-da-da. You guys need to tell me why they are like that, okay? And how do you know what made you guys decide to label them as you did? Okay, number 15, you guys are looking at paper clips picked up with an electromagnet. So multiple choice on that one. I'll let you guys figure that one out yourself. This one, you guys have a circuit. We didn't do a ton of circuits, but this should be pretty easy for you guys. So you guys have these little motors, you have a switch, and you have batteries. The switch in the circuit shown on the right is open. Describe what will happen when the switch is closed and why. Okay. Number 17, again, you're looking at a graph that describes electromagnets. You're talking about, on your x-axis, the gauge of wire. So that's how thick a wire is. And then the number of nails lifted. So how many things did it pick up, or did that electromagnet pick up? Gauge of wire, like I said, is thickness. The lower the number, the thicker the wire is. So if you guys have ever known anything about getting your ears pierced and like the gauge of piercings, lower the number, thicker the wire. Okay, so answer those 2 questions. 18, multiple choice based on this little circuit. On 19, so everyone look at 19. You guys have 4 scenarios. You have scenario A, B, C, and D. You guys need to explain, all right, if we let go of the balloons, what's going to happen? So that's their motion, and then why is that going to happen? So for instance, in A, you guys can see this sweater with the positive charge, and then you guys can see this balloon with the negative charge. If we let go of that balloon, what's going to happen? So describe the motion, and then why is it going to happen like that? Okay. B and C are very similar. You have 2 balloons with negative charges, but notice that C has a little bit more negative charges. So make sure on B and C, when you guys are explaining those, you guys give me a difference in the motion of B versus C. How is the motion of B going to be different than C, and why is that? Okay, last but not least, you guys have D has, each balloon has a little bit of positive and a little bit of negative. So if we let go of those balloons, what's the motion going to be and why? Okay, last but not least, you guys have this picture of a bar magnet with the electromagnetic field, or excuse me, the magnetic field lines. So looking at those lines, where is the magnetic field the strongest? So use the bar magnet to describe that. So where at on the bar magnet is the magnet strongest? And then describe an experiment you could perform to test this claim. So how will you guys test that claim? Okay, so that's your guys' test. Again, when you guys get done, turn the test into the sub, not the box. You guys will go back to where you took the test, and you guys need to work on your missing work. If you have any, and or your guys' notebook, again, you guys need to open your notebook to page 22 or 23 and make a neat pile of those for 5th period and a neat pile of those for 6th period on my back table. Again, if you guys didn't get that information from the notebook, you guys can come bring your notebook back here. Key concepts are right here. Just the vocab words, not the definitions, are right there. Those do not leave my back table. So if you need to use those, you need to come back and work at my back table. Once you guys get the vocab words copied down, you guys can go on the glossary on Amplify and get the definitions for those, or check either one of those on Edmodo. I hope you guys do well on your test. Good luck and have a good day. Bye.